What's good, YouTube? What's good, my listeners? Welcome back to another episode of Content Creation is a Sport. Now, I'm going to let you know something. I'm just going to be very transparent. Like I've told you, this is a real talk video, and I have no notes. We're just doing it off the top of the dome today because this is the topic that has come up because a lot of my friends are going through transitions, and a lot of people are having these aspirations of doing this one thing, and that is going full time. Going full time doing what I'm doing now, not just doing a podcast, not just being, a creator, but also being like a creative business owner, being a content creator on social media, but just being in the creative industry. A lot of times when people are going into the creative industry, let's be real, a lot of you have terrible jobs that you don't like, and you're doing those jobs obviously to pay your bills because you want to eat. Like, we hungry, we like to eat. And you're having a difficult time, maybe, making that transition from that job to your, creative craft being your full-time thing. Okay. So in this video, in this podcast episode, I want to talk about what it really takes to do that. Okay. And this is going to be yet again, another one of those real talk things. There are going to be some truths that I'm going to express that are going to be hard for a lot of you to take. I'm letting you know that off the bat. It's going to be hard for a lot of you to accept, but it's just the truth. It is a truth that I had to live out. It is a truth that I still live today as a person that is a full-time entrepreneur that is trying to grow a media company, that is trying to grow on YouTube. I'm trying to create these multiple sources of income, but it had to start somewhere. And I want to really dive deep into that for this episode and just discuss that. So I want to talk about just really what it takes. So the first thing is going to take to get to a point where you can quit your job and become full-time is you have to have what I would consider to be called a high value skill. It sounds like I'm about to go red pill, blue pill, like no, red pill. I don't know what, I'm 35. I don't know what that mess means, but I know that it's, pretty much, high value. You say that word, it triggers people into thinking something bad or thinking about a specific figure, but you have to have a high value skill. What is a high value skill? And what I mean by that is typically a skill that people are going to pay you for, that's going to save them time, save them money, even though it is money they're paying you, but it's still gonna, on the back end save them money because it's saving them time. It is a skill that it's hard to replicate in a lot of cases, but if it can be replicated, it's more, competitive. And this high value skill is something that a lot of people can't dedicate time to because they have to focus on maybe their specific skill. I want to give you a list of skills. We're talking about obviously what we're doing now: videography, cinematography, photography is another one. Copywriting is a good one. Graphic design is another one. Brand building, social media marketing, building presets, coding. I'm just naming all these different high value skills that you have to attain, you have to develop. So maybe you have that skill already and maybe you don't have that skill. And the reason why you need that is because you need to have something that's going to complement your full-time job, because you got money coming in from your full-time job that's paying your bills. You're going to need extra money, all right? High value skill money that's going to come together, that's going to allow you the wiggle room to save more money. Because when you're ready to quit your job, you got to understand something. You got to save money. You have to save money. So you have to go out here and either use your high value skill that is aligned with your passion, or you have to go and develop a high value skill that will also complement your full time. Again, I want to go back. Let's go through a list of what we consider to be high value skills. Website developing is one. Again, using a camera, photography, videography, okay? Running audio, maybe for someone's podcast. Maybe you're helping someone grow their social media because they don't have time to do the posting. They don't want to do the research on hashtags and understanding the algorithm. Maybe you're a video editor that can take somebody's video that is an hour long, like a podcast, and you can chop it up into clips. I'm just giving you examples of different skills that you can develop. Maybe you are a really, really good writer. And the reason why you're there is because you're writing a blog for somebody. Maybe you are working for a person that is running a business and they have like an email newsletter. And you're the one that just really you're good with words, and you can write that newsletter better than they can. You can take their words, their notes and everything, and you can make it all pretty and nice. You can use Canva and send something out to their customers or potential customers. Okay, I'm just giving you some graphic design. I'm just giving you examples of different high value skills that if you have those, you're already ahead of the game to get you closer to working full time as a creator. The second thing you're going to need is going to be like an unwavering level of consistency. What I mean by that is that you have to be consistent still at your job to make sure you keep your job, but you also have to be consistent in the content creation process. So maybe you are a graphic designer. You have to consistently use the quote unquote extra time to go and pump out designs for clients, to do outreach for clients. If you are a cinematographer or a videographer, photographer, you're using your weekends to pretty much do your photo shoots. That's what I did. When I was trying to quit my job, before I even picked up a camera to shoot video, I was shooting photos. And the first thing I did is just say, hey, my weekends and whatever I can do at night for editing, that is going to be dedicated to either reaching out to clients or editing photos. And then on the weekends, I'm doing photo shoots for different clients. I'm shooting weddings. I'm shooting whatever comes my way. But that is how I'm spending my weekends. And I'm being consistent. And I'm telling you that consistency is required, because the only way to build something after hours, because you ain't got the day. Guess what? Your full-time job takes up your day. So you don't have the time during the day, like a lot of people do at their jobs, to build things. And when you don't have that time, that means you have to be consistent at a time when it's hard to be consistent. What do I mean by that? I mean, the weekend is hard to be consistent, because the weekend, and it's rightfully so, for most people, it is designed to be your chill time. It is designed to be your unwind time. I've had a week of work. It is designed for you to have a break. Okay. And I'm just letting you know, on the journey, okay, of getting to a point where you can go full time, that is where your consistency is going to count the most in your business. Like, you have to look at your weekends as a time and your vacations as a time where now I get to work on my things. Trust me, your vacation is going to come. All right, if you just do this on the front end, if you're consistent on the front end, you're going to earn the money, okay, where you can take a vacation. You could even take a vacation while you're juggling the two jobs. But it's a sacrifice on the front end that is going to pay dividends on the back end. So just try to be consistent even when you don't feel like being consistent. So speaking of sacrifice, all right, again, I'm just doing this off the top of the dome. It takes tremendous sacrifice to become an entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is that I'm gonna let you know, man, I personally, I give a lot of highlight reels, because I know that the dirty work that I do on the back end it's not sexy. I was talking about this to a person today, and we were working together on writing up our pitch decks for clients, and he's editing. So we were talking about this, and we were like, man, like, I would love to vlog my day. And I was just like, but it's not sexy. Like, there are parts of it that may be sexy, like the photo shoots, the video shoots, and like the client meetings. But other than that, it ain't really sexy. So it's not going to be interesting. It's not going to get people riled up. It may motivate some people because they get to see what it really looks like. What I'm saying is this, okay, I'm going all over the place, but what I'm saying is this. It takes tremendous sacrifice to be an entrepreneur. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline, and we'll get to that. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline to say, I want to go do that fun thing, but I can't go do that fun thing because I need to really be focused and dedicated to this. I need to be putting my time in this. Whatever free time that I have, I need to be putting in this. And it's going to be a lot of L's you're going to have to take. It's just going to be some trips you can't go on. There's going to be some nights you can't go out. There's going to be some events you cannot go to. There's going to be some concerts that you're going to miss. And the thing about it is, and this, again, this is where I know I'm going to offend somebody. It's what it takes. The reason why the people that you see in your life that say they want to be entrepreneurs, all those things, when they say those things, and they're not there and they're so far from it, and you're like, damn, like, what's the difference? Like, what I can promise you, a lot of the times it's because it's hard to be able to sacrifice that. It is hard to get into the mindset to say, I'm going to sacrifice this time and the things that I would typically want to do, the going out to eat, the parties, all that. I'm going to not do that for a year. That is hard to do for most people. And I know it's some people watching this video right now. You could be watching this on a Saturday and you're about to get ready to go out. And I'm telling you that if you want to go full time, you have to spend 6 months to a year just not doing those things. And I know that sounds aggressive and I know that sounds very unsexy, but I'm telling you, you have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice those events. And the reason why you have to sacrifice, we go back to time. You don't have the time. You don't have the luxury of time when you already have a job and you're also aspiring to do this other thing, this whole other career. You don't have the luxury of time. And trust me, that sucks. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to tell you this. You think I want to look at you in your eyes in this camera and give you this bad news? I don't. I don't want to tell you that, but I also know what it takes. I want you to think of one person that is in a successful place that you want to be in your business that you look up to. I want you to talk to them. If you have access to talk to them, to really touch upon the topic of how they got to that point, there's going to be a phase in their life where they just had to put their head down and just be tunnel vision and just go all in and focus on that thing that they need to focus on and just ignore all the noise, ignore the going out, ignore the like some people don't take vacations. I mean, it can get really aggressive. Sometimes it's a little too aggressive, but I don't knock it because, hey, if you get the results that you want in the end, then you have won. You figured out how to go full time. Who am I to judge you? So I'm telling you, it takes tremendous sacrifice. And I just need you to mentally get ready for that sacrifice because it's going to hurt. You're going to be disappointed because sacrifice, and this is a note that people need to understand. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't be a sacrifice. If it didn't hurt, I'm gonna say it again, it wouldn't be a sacrifice. So the things that you are sacrificing, not doing, they're all things that you want to do. And that is the key that people need to understand is that people think sacrifice just means I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't feel like it, or it wasn't that important anyway. No, 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 no. The things that you're sacrificing are things that you want to do, events you want to be at, people you want to hang out with, guys, girls you want to see. I'm just trying to let you know, girls you want to hang out with. It's a sacrifice. So it's meant to be painful. It's meant to be a disappointment. And if it wasn't disappointing, then it's not really what we would consider to be a sacrifice. Number 4, and this one here, I think is going to be just groundbreaking for a lot of people, regardless of what you're trying to do. But you got to have tremendous time management. And the reason why that's important, again, is I go back to what I said earlier. You don't have the luxury of time. When you are trying to quit your job, you don't have time. You need to go ahead and block out what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're taking a nap or maybe you're going to hang out with a friend or so. Like you still have to be very proficient in your time blocking. And the reason why you have to be very proficient in your time blocking is, again, you don't have the luxury of time. You don't want to end up in a situation where you worked all day and then you still only maybe have 4 hours left before you want to go to bed. That means you have to figure out a way to efficiently use this time towards your business, towards your side hustle, towards your thing that you're trying to do full time. And again, that's tough, because it's hard to even think about putting something else on your calendar after a day of work. It's hard to go ahead and time block your weekend around, your second career that you're trying to pursue. But with tremendous time management, what you're able to do, and this is just trying to give you a little glimpse of hope, you're able to do your full-time job. You're able to still block out time to work on your business. And then you're also able to efficiently block out time to do normal things, human things, whether it be, again, hanging out with friends, whether it be going to see family, whether it be going on that vacation. When you have time management, guess what? You can have it all. Shout out to Colin Cowherd. Again, I always like to throw sports in here. Colin Cowherd is a very proficient and very prolific sports commentator, very legendary commentator. And what he talked about is just being a time aficionado, just a time crazy person. And the reason why he was a time person is because on his report card, his instructors, his teachers would always say he's just not very time efficient. And what I'm saying is when you're time efficient, and this is how he described it, I can do it all. When I'm time efficient, I have time to be on TV and do this. I have time to run my businesses. I have time to run my podcast business. I have time to spend with my family. I have time to spend with my wife. We went to a ball game. When you're very time proficient, and this is something I'm still working on, when you're very time proficient, you can have everything. And I'm saying that to help you, give you a little glimpse of hope. When you're time blocking things out, you have a clear vision of how you're going to spend that time in the day. And the other thing you have to be with your time blocking is non-negotiable. A lot of times people will try to hijack your time for them to hit you with a problem that you can solve for them or things that you can do for them, because guess what? You are a highly skilled person. Guess what? That means you're very resourceful. So a lot of times people are going to want to take your time from you. You have to be very strict on your time blocks and have non-negotiables baked in. I know this is a long segment about time blocks, but if you're saying I'm going to work 9 to 5, now you have to figure out, what does my time block look like from 5 to 7? That could be an hour break and then go to a workout. It could be an hour break, food, and it could be anything you want. But you have to be very non-negotiable with your time blocks, because if you don't, if that 30 minutes is off, it can really mess up the freedom of your scheduling. And I know when you have a time block, it doesn't feel like freedom, but it gives you freedom, because when you're efficient with your time, you look up and at the end of the day, you're like, damn, I got a little extra time. I was very time efficient. Now I can either go to bed earlier, maybe I can, go hang out with some friends really quickly, just catch up for an hour or two. Again, long segment, but time blocking is astronomically like mind changing, life changing. Trust me, I'm still trying to get better at it. And when I do have weeks where I do proficiently time block, my goodness, I end the week on such a high, because I got every single thing done that I wanted to get done during the entire week. Number 5, okay, and this again, very aggressive. Some people are gonna hate it. I've talked about this before. I think I've talked about this specific topic for years. And the reason I do is because honestly, I personally have to relook at my own relationship with money and how I spend it. I'm right now in this place in life where, like, I'm happy to have flexibility in spending money, but now I'm learning, hey, just because you have it don't mean you spend it. And that is the next thing. Just because you have it don't mean you spend it. Specifically, let's go into this. Don't spend money unless it's money. During this time, all right, I'm not saying like in general, but during this time while you're trying to grow and get into this transition from your full-time job to being a full-time creator or being a full-time creative, you gotta cut back on your spending. You gotta cut back tremendously. And the only things I want you to quote unquote splurge on are going to be things that are dedicated to your business. So for you, cinematographer, only thing I want to see you spending money on will be maybe a new lens that's going to help you get higher paying clients. Maybe a new camera that's going to help you get higher paying clients. Maybe it's going to be a new computer, new monitor, things of that matter. If you are a designer, maybe you want a new computer that's a little bit more powerful, that's going to allow you to pump out more designs. If you design websites, maybe you want a more powerful PC that's going to allow you to code faster. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to the sneakers, when it comes to the clothes, when it comes to the bags, I'm just naming things because guys like bags, girls like bags too. I can't tell you, and you all have this habit too because it's so accessible. The Amazon cart be carting. The Amazon cart be carting. And even me as a young business owner, fairly young, 35, I'm still learning that just because I have it don't mean I spend it. And I'm dedicating time to understanding, like, let me reprogram my mind as far as like how I spend money. Did I need it? Because you always wonder why people with money keep their money and why they're rich and why they're wealthy. It's because I've talked to wealthy people, and man, it'll be something that's just like $50 and they'll be upset because they used to, may have gotten it for 30. And I'd be like, bro, it's $20 difference. And that is how they became wealthy. That is how they keep their wealth. That is how they keep growing, is because they try not to squander money. When you're an entrepreneur, you cannot afford to squander money. When you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot afford to squander money. So a lot of the nice things you like, and a big one that we like to do as Americans, is going to be eating out. I don't remember the last time I've ate out, especially because I have a girlfriend. I don't remember the last time I've eaten out and I haven't spent less than $100 because I'm 35. I'm not just going to cookout. Geez, like calm down, guys. You may like cookout. I'm just saying, we all have to have a cookout, burger here and there. McDonald's. I don't know what y'all like. Taco Bell. But most of the time when I'm going out, if I'm going to get a burger, I'm going to want a nice burger. So that burger's probably going to be $30, $40. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Everything's expensive. But I'm just saying, if you want a nice dinner, you're not spending under $50 on a nice dinner. It's just not happening. So when you do that, let's say, hey, let's talk about it. When you do that multiple times a week, you end up spending $200-$300 a week because you decided to eat out all these days instead of learning how to cook. So whether it be 6 months, whether it be a year, try to get to a point where you can lessen your spending. So you go ahead, divvy out on the things that you need, your car, your rent, maybe you're paying back your student loans and then, whatever, your insurance, your car insurance, your medical insurance, and just your things for the house, the things that you need for the house. Divvy that up, put it over to the side. That's all you need. Okay. Now, the rest of the extra money are the things that you're going to use. It's the money you're going to use to enhance your business. Again, I don't care what business you're in. You can be in one of these very high value, like creative businesses. Maybe you're a copywriter. Maybe you want to read more and you're learning, you're educating yourself. So maybe you buy a tablet or a Kindle. I don't know. I'm just saying, if it's not something that is dedicated to you growing in your business, try to lessen your spending. I'm not saying completely. You may want to buy a sneaker or two here and there. I get that. In any moment, if you can, ask yourself this simple question. Number one, do I need it? And then number two, can I take this money? Is there any way that I can enhance my business to make it better, to make more money? Do I need to reinvest it into my business? And sometimes the answer is going to be like, you know what? I don't need it, but hey, I really want this. And this is going to enhance my life. That's the thing about it. And I'm going to leave you with that when it comes to, lessening your spending. Sometimes things that you spend and you're buying it for yourself. Because a lot of times we buy a lot of these nice things because we're trying to impress people. Let's be honest here. But a lot of times it's just like a life enhancement. And it's just like, you know what? I want it because it's going to, and it can be as simple as this, make me feel better. It's going to make me feel more confident. Do it. A lot of times you need those confidence boosters, especially if you've been working really hard, you have been time proficient, you have also been sacrificing a lot. Maybe in that moment, it's just like, golly, I cannot just go buy something for myself. Do it, okay? Because this is a long road. So maybe you want to do it then. I'm saying just lessen your spending and don't go crazy like you typically go crazy. I'm going to give you two more. I think I'm going to give you two more tonight. Number 6, invest time in your personal branding. I don't care what business you're in. If you are a business owner, CEO, founder, co-founder, I don't care. People don't buy from just businesses anymore. It's the reason why Elon Musk is on TV all the time. It's the reason why Elon Musk felt it was necessary to buy something like Twitter, turn it to X. It's the reason why Bezos is on camera. That's the reason why Tim Cook is always on camera. People have learned that business owners and entrepreneurs and also big level CEOs have learned that people buy through relationship. Simply, do I fuck with you? Am I a fan? Now, CEOs, big CEOs are realizing that people have to put a face to the money that they're spending and not just a face on their dollar bills. So for you, if you have a creative business, especially if you have a creative business, whether you're a photographer, again, videographer, maybe you are a website designer, maybe you are a coder, maybe you are a graphic designer, copyright. I'm just thinking about this. You run social media brands. It doesn't matter what you do. People are going to still feel better spending money with you and working with you if they built some type of rapport with you through online content. I have two people that I've worked with, Aaron and Jordan. They run this company called Impact Fitness Coaching Academy. And guess what? They are doing millions of dollars. I'm talking about like 8 figures a year in business. But they still do two things. They still make content and they still run ads. And their business is thriving and they have retainer clients. But it doesn't matter. Guess what they're still doing? They're still making content. They still do a podcast. They still do all those things. I have another client that I work with that is a veneers company. And the two, head dentists, they make content. They both have followings and then their business have a following. And guess what? Just because they have this inflow of people coming in, regardless of, just their business, they still make content. They still create content because they want to maintain, their face in front of their audience. They want to maintain that sense of community. And I'm telling you, when you begin, and trust me, I have learned the power of that in maybe the last year of being and I've been a content creator for almost a decade, but this year I'm just being more of myself. People are getting to know me better. And guess what? It allows me to have such productive meetings, and the amount of outreach that I get increased. And the reason why it was easier to close those clients, and the reason why it was easier to build those relationships, is because of, I saw this video of you, or I saw you make that. They remembered the content I made that triggered them to reach out to me specifically. So I'm telling you, personal branding is something that I don't think anybody should ignore. A lot of my fellow cinematography friends, a lot of them don't want to make content. They don't want to talk in front of a camera. It is not I get it. It's not the easiest thing to talk in front of this camera. I know we make it look easy, but right now it is 1:30 in the morning, and I haven't had time today to do anything but focus on work because it is a weekday. I'm focused on work. I'm in meetings. I'm editing. I'm doing work things. But guess what? This is not easy to sit up here in the middle of the night to do this. And a lot of people don't feel like doing that, and that is okay. But guess what? If you just take an hour a day, if you can, an hour, even, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you this way. Take 3 hours out of your week to sit down and get in front of a camera to talk. Or maybe you want to teach someone something, or maybe you want to give a little bit of value. It doesn't need to even be anything aggressive. I guarantee you that level of personal branding is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to make people build that relationship with you because you're giving them free value and you're helping people. That should already be enough. And then the other thing is you're now building a brand. You're being known for something. You're being known for being this person or having this subject matter on lock. You are now a subject matter expert. And I don't care what you say. There's so much value. There's tremendous value in your audience, your community, your niche, your market, understanding that you are also one of those subject matter experts. Yes, I understand the market can be saturated. In your specific niche, it could be extremely saturated. But it doesn't matter because sometimes people just want it from you. All right. A lot of times I used to think that, you know what? All these YouTubers are already doing these reviews on this specific product. Who gives a damn if I do it? Then I began to realize, oh, damn, it's not that they've heard the product being reviewed before. They haven't heard me review the product, and people want to know what I think about it. I'm like, you want to know what I think? Little on me? Well, damn, let me go up in here and make this video. So I'm telling you, invest some time. Number 6, invest time in your personal branding. And I guarantee you will see while you're in your full-time job working, when you invest time in that, I guarantee it's going to accelerate the amount of time it takes you from going to full-time, whatever you're doing in your current career, to being a full-time creative. Number 7, and for me, I think this is one that hits creators now. Doesn't matter if you are, aspiring or you're full-time. It's something I still struggle with. Stop seeking perfection or waiting for the perfect time or trying to make the perfect content. Specifically, stop waiting on the perfect time when it comes to new creators or aspiring full-time creators. Is that you're waiting on conditions to be a certain way before you start. And you just need to start. There's never going to be what we consider to be a perfect time to get started. So maybe you're like, you know what? I'll get started when I get this camera. I mean, phones, the iPhone 15 is crazy. You can get started right now. Used to it be like, oh, I need this podcast mic. Shure SM7B even. You don't need it. I have recommended the DJI Mic 2 and the DJI Mic 1, the Hollyland Lark M2s, the Rode Wireless Go's, Shure MV7 Rode Pod mics. I can't tell you the amount of microphones that have not been the Shure SM7B that I've recommended to people to just get them started. It's never going to be perfect. Yeah, when I started my YouTube journey, right now I'm shooting with, I'm blessed to say this. I'm shooting with an FX6 and an FX3 on a freaking slider using G Master lenses. Like, who the crap? Using a Shure SM7B. When I started, you go back to my original videos. Go back to the first videos I was uploading. The video that actually got me the most subscribers was my review on the Canon M50 because that was the camera that I started. I started on a $500 Canon M50. There's never a perfect time to start. You're not going to have the perfect camera. It's never going to be the perfect conditions. The algorithm is never going to be perfect. So while you're sitting there as a content creator that is aspiring to be this great thing, and you're at work going to this job that you hate, and you know you hate, I did it every day. I did it every day where I went to a job where I hated it, and I would just sit up every day and watch this young man by the name of Peter McKinnon, and it's just like, man, it would be so fun to have this life, to just make a living making content. I didn't even know really much about cameras at the time. I had a 5D Mark III, didn't even know what I had, and I would just set it up with a little field world monitor and make beats. All right. I was making music. Didn't even know anything about cameras. I was just pressing record, hoping for the best. But even me, I waited so long to just, get the perfect camera, to get the perfect that and everything. And what really took off for me, I'm just being honest with you, the Canon M50 is what took off for me, because when I was able to flip the screen and then see myself, and then I was just like, man, I'm just gonna talk to the camera. I had moved to this city, Nashville, Tennessee, when it was very uncommon to see people walking around with a camera, taking pictures, and really just like loitering, all that fun stuff. And I got to a point where I was just like, man, if the life that I want to live is being a creator, I can't wait to become a full-time creator to live the life. I have to be that now. Whatever you want to be, you have to be that now. The version of you that wants to exist in the future you have to be in that mindset now. That is why it's important when a lot of entrepreneurs get going and they start making money. You can't start thinking like a millionaire when you become a millionaire. You have to start thinking like a millionaire when you're probably making $100,000 a year. And that's the only way. You have to already get yourself in that mindset. It is no perfect time to admit that that's what you want to do or completely lean into that. There's no perfect condition, because the only way to change your condition or your environment is you have to change. You have to be the change that you want to see. And I know that sounds corny. You literally have to say, hey, I want to be a creator. What must I do to be a creator? Probably create. So all those posts that a lot of you just don't post because you're self-conscious, you've thought about it too much, people are not gonna like it, my friends are gonna laugh at me, all those type of things. Like, you gotta let that go, because it's never gonna be a perfect time. Because guess what? We all gotta go through that phase where our friends and family are roasting us because we think we somebody, because we're on camera. And all those things, they have lots of things to say about you. That is just a phase you gotta go to. It's not gonna be a perfect time where they're going to give you the hype that you feel like you deserve. It's just not gonna happen. There's not gonna be a perfect time where your job may just get a little bit better, and now this is the perfect time for me to start. It's not gonna be a perfect time. The reason why it's important to understand it's not gonna be a perfect time, because you don't wanna miss the opportunity. And what I mean by that, we are living in a creator economy, meaning when you look around and you look at some of the highest earning people in the world, it used to be CEOs of Fortune 50 companies, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, or maybe athletes and musicians, actors, actresses. Those were the most wealthy people in the world typically. That has changed. Now content creators are the wealthiest people in the world. And so what better time to become a content creator than now? And I know it's crazy to say, but right now, this time right now is probably the best time to get started as a content creator, because we are now in the creator economy of people wanting to consume more content. They're hungry for more content. They're craving more content. And guess what? You have the supply. They out here itching. They like, I need more of that content. And you can supply it. You could be in the street supplying the content. So I don't care if you have an iPhone. I don't care if you have a big camera. I don't care if you have a G7X. I don't care what you have. You can have a Samsung. I don't care. Get started now, because there are kids right now going viral, making money on these social media platforms just simply using their phone. And I'm just saying, if they can do it, and you have this very high skill that you have, then you could do it too. So how about we stop waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect economy, the perfect time, the perfect, environment for us to get started in the things that we want to do. And those, my friends, are just 7 ways. There are more ways, but these I'm presenting 7. We're going to do another episode like this too, because I got a bunch of other ways to do it. These are 7 ways, 7 things that you have to adopt that are going to help you become a full-time content creator. I hope this episode of Content Creation as a Sport has been helpful to you. I hope it has been enlightening. I hope I have challenged some of you a little bit to go out there, just go ahead and get started. I hope I have. And please, if you're on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. More to come. Guess what? We're going to have some guests on this thing. I promise you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode. I love y'all.